What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MULN stock.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And in today's video, first of all, I will show you where we are on the price chart and why this asset is still in downtrend, and it is 100% crystal clear for me. Then I will continue with the fundamental news, and I have to say that a lot of people think that Mullen might disclose some amazing news this week related to a potential new deal directly related to their so-called magic box. And at the end of this video, I will share my thoughts and my technical analysis, and I will show you what should we expect next. So let's start with the price chart. I made my previous video just a couple of days ago, and I've told you that this asset had a harsh reverse stock split, 1 to 25, and this was disclosed just a couple of days before it happened. And definitely, this harsh reverse stock split didn't impress very much a lot of investors, and that is why it is still in downtrend. On top of that, they have a lot of news. I mean, Mullen Automotive has a lot of news that were disclosed recently, and in their news section you can see that they are taking part in different exhibitions, and they have a lot of new contracts, and the main contract for them right now is 1,000 vehicle order from Randy Marion for Class 3 EV cab chassis truck. And this news should push the price of Mullen higher in order to stay in line with the Nasdaq rules. Let me show you this news that was published on May the 8th, and it says, Mullen stock alert, is Mullen short interest really above 200%? And I want to pay attention on just first paragraph. It's been less than a week since Mullen Automotive initiated a 1 for 25 reverse stock split. Shares of Mullen stock have now traded above $1 for 2 days, not including today. So today it will be the fourth day, at the end of this day, that they are trading above $1 mark. And for now, I think that they can hold this line above $1 in order to stay in line with the Nasdaq requirements. And right here you can read that they must remain there for a minimum of 10 consecutive days to satisfy the Nasdaq continued listing minimum price requirement. And this is, in my opinion, the main goal for the Mullen Automotive right now, because if they fail this rule, if they fail this threshold, definitely they will be forced to do another potential reverse stock split, or they will be delisted from the stock exchange. And definitely they don't want to see this outcome, and that is why they try to do their best in order to stay above $1 mark. And I have to say that for now we are not far from this range, about 30%, and I have to say that recently this asset had this type of harsh sell-off. For example, during these several sessions they lost about 48.8%, and in a matter of just 2 sessions. That is why they are still not out of the woods in order to stay in line with this rule. But a lot of people still think that Mullen has a bright future, and I have to say that if you say that your company is an automotive manufacturer, you have to produce these vehicles, and you cannot rely on other companies' inventions and so-called magic boxes, because even if Lawrence will have his contract, I have to say that it will be only a part of this contract, a part of the value of this contract that will be to the Mullen's side. And I have to say that Lawrence said in his interview, and you can find it on Reddit thread related to Mullen, he said that he wanted to implement his black box on each and every vehicle produced by Mullen. But guys, let's be crystal clear. Mullen cannot produce any vehicles. They can just buy it from Chinese manufacturer, then import it onto the US territory and resell it under their own brand. And with this type of arbitrage selling, they cannot have a very good margin, and they cannot basically do any updates on these vehicles without the new process of homologation of these vehicles. And definitely they don't have enough money to make it happen, and that is why, in my opinion, they cannot produce any vehicles at all. So Also, a lot of people say in my comment section that I have to be more positive on Mullen, and for example, I have to read this person. His Twitter account is Volatier89, and right here you can read a lot of quite interesting tweets, but let me show you one of them. So here is this tweet, and it was published on May the 7th, and he wrote, "Here's my 2 cents on the authorized shares situation that came after 8K was filed. I do not believe that they can issue a fresh new batch of up to 5 billion authorized shares without another shareholder vote. The total authorized shares haven't been changed, but of the 5 billion we know at least 3.8 billion have already been circulated into the market, per the OS as of April 13th. At most, that means there is a 1.2 billion left, could be used for dilution moving forward. And I have to say that it is also quite a harsh number. They also need to save some restricted shares as part of company's incentives. The bottom line is that we need to have an updated outstanding share count to understand its impact on the authorized shares that are available. As always, I could absolutely be wrong, but that's my interpretation. And I completely agree with this statement that we have to know the exact number of shares outstanding. Without this number, we cannot do basically anything, and we cannot start our fundamental analysis from scratch, because we don't know one of the key metrics of this company. And the most concerning part is right here. If you take a look on their official statements that was made just recently, on May the 4th, they filed this 8K form. And here you can read that the reverse stock split did not change any authorized number of shares or the par value of the common stock, nor modify any voting rights of the common stock. And here you can find an additional information: certificate of amendment to the second amended and restated certificate of incorporation filed on May the 3rd. And right here you can see that the number of shares outstanding is still the same, 5.5 billion shares. So I don't think how you can interpret this information rather than they still have an opportunity to dilute existing shareholders even more. And this is 100% correct, because they have to collect more money in order to push their products to the market. And I've stated it multiple times that only one launch of their vehicles should cost up to $3 billion at least. And they don't have this money. And that is why they cannot push their own vehicles to the market in any cases. The only thing that they can do is just buy these vehicles from Chinese manufacturers and resell it on the US territory. But I have to say that the price of these vehicles are extremely high, $34.5 thousand per Class 1 electric cargo van. And I've told you in my previous video that, for example, Nissan NEV200 costs about $10,000 less than this price, and they are basically the rivals, direct rivals on the market. On top of that, Class 1 EV cargo van from Mullen cannot be used on the public roads, because they didn't pass the homologation process, and that is why its top speed restricted on 19 miles per hour. So why in the world you have to pay this crazy amount of money to use this cargo van and not to have an ability to drive even on your own town from one company to another? You just can use it on some restricted areas like airports, like university campuses, and that is why they try to push these vehicles to the Menzies and to the campus of Carolina. So that is crystal clear for me, and I have to say that the only thing that they can change their position on the market and their price is the beginning of their production, their own production. And you cannot rely on any other so-called inventions and other partnerships, because if it is the auto manufacturer, they have to produce vehicles. And I think that's all information that I want to provide you. And if you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell. And see you guys until next time. Bye.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life, I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.